you high, WWE? You shut up, producer man. I will say whatever I want. What's the name of the show? It's the Flippin' Mark Show. All right, okay, fine. It's kayfabe news, but I'm still doing it. Who at World Wrestling Entertainment is in charge of the hiring and firing between Raw and SmackDown? Because we found out a few weeks ago that AJ Styles was now on SmackDown, that someone had been moved to Monday Night Raw. And last night we found out that it is Dolph Ziggler and his best friend and younger brother, Bobby Roode. This doesn't make any sense. This is absolutely logical. One, Bobby Roode is missing in action right now, and nobody seems to care. I haven't seen him in months. And two, have you seen Dolph Ziggler's win-loss record recently? No, you haven't, because you don't go out of the way and do the research, but on Kayfabe News we do, so put this up your ass and smoke it. It is currently June 2020, and here are some current results featuring Dolph Ziggler so you can get an idea. So earlier in June, he teamed with John Morrison The Miz to take on Braun Strowman, Otis and Tucker, and he lost. He was then in a battle royale, he lost. Admittedly, he did beat Mandy Rose and Otis, but he was teaming up with Sonya Deville, and he barely featured. Then he took on Otis, and he lost. He beat Otis's best friend Tucker, but Tucker doesn't do anything. He then fought Otis and Tucker on separate occasions, and he lost. He was in the Elimination Chamber, and he lost. He then took on Mansoor, and he lost. Tag team match, lost. Tag team match, lost. Tag team match, lost. Tag team match. Took on Roman Reigns. Tag team match, lost. No, it wasn't tag team match, normal match, but he lost. Even when he teamed with Royalty, the anointed one, King Corbin, and he took on Daniel Bryan and The Miz, he lost. He did it against the New Day, he lost. He took on Roman Reigns again without being able to learn anything, he lost. Then somehow he won a flipping match at Survivor Series. I don't know how that happened, but then surprise, surprise, Mustafa Ali and Shorty G lost. Otis and Tucker lost. And if we go back to 2019, my word. Monday Night Raw, August 19th, he lost to Roman Reigns. Monday Night Raw, lost to The Miz. SummerSlam, lost to Goldberg. Raw, lost to Seth Rollins. SmackDown, lost to Kevin Owens. SmackDown, lost to Kofi Kingston. SmackDown, Extreme Rules even, lost to Kevin Owens. SmackDown Live, lost to Roman Reigns. Why have we got garbage on our show? It is bullshit. Now, if we go to AJ Styles, okay, he had a bad day against Matt Riddle recently, but he won the Intercontinental Championship from Daniel Bryan, or in a tournament, it was an open challenge, and now he has a belt around his waist. What does Dolph Ziggler have around his waist? Probably not even a strap to keep his pants up. And we're talking about championships, let's go through them. I have the statistic right here. Do you know how many world championships AJ Styles has won in the WWE in the last 4 years? 2. That's pretty impressive. Do you know how many Dolph Ziggler has won in 16 years? I'll give you a moment to think about it. No, I won't. It's 2. So again, I asked the question, how is this a trade? I understand it's 2 for 1, but don't even get into Bob Roode's record. Don't even think about it. He comes out and he's all like, glorious, I am the king. You're not glorious, Bobby Roode. Your beard is. It is well groomed and makes me feel very happy about the face on your hair. But other than that, why don't you just turn up for work? He doesn't even show up for work. I'd fire him, and I'd fire him tomorrow. But for some reason, Dolph Ziggler does now have a championship shot at Extreme Rules against Drew McIntyre, and we just have to hope that he wins so he can at least have more World Championship victories than AJ Styles. It would move him up to 3 over an absolute crazy amount of time. I have no words for this. I have no words. What's next? We're probably going to put, I don't know, Roman Reigns. We'll move Roman Reigns to Raw, and we'll put Hornswoggle on SmackDown. And he's not even in the company anymore. In sadder news, we also saw a bit of a situation between Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax, as Nia Jax injured the Queen and has apparently put her on the injured list for quite some time. It also came into play in the Charlotte Flair Asuka match for the Raw Women's Championship, where Charlotte did indeed have a gammy arm, and Asuka decided to try and break it, forcing Ric Flair's daughter to tap out. As we do give you this review, there has been no word of any punishment towards Nia Jax, which seems very strange as she attacked another colleague backstage, but I guess WWE just doesn't give a hoot about that, and she wasn't even sent to a local medical facility. I'm also very worried about the parental skills of one Rey Mysterio. He returned to Raw this week with his son Dominic, who last week had ran away from home and gone out on his own. And here, Mr. Mysterio was congratulating his son and saying he was proud of his actions. Rey, here everybody at Kayfabe News would like to let you know how being a dad works. You control the child doesn't control you. And if you keep green lighting the actions that he keeps taking, he will of course do it again. and he was this close to having his eye stabbed out of his face on Raw. And how would you have explained that to Mrs. Mysterio? You're just going to bring him back with an eye patch on his face and say, oh, well, we decided to make him a pirate? No, you're not. And also, Raw is broadcast to an audience of millions. I think she would have found out. You're very lucky you have friends in the likes of Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black who are out here to save the day, but I'm very worried about the reticles and irises of future wrestlers going forward. We need to stamp this out, and we need to stamp this out now. Talking about other people that I'm worried about, we do need to talk about Edge. Now, firstly, people keep calling him Adam at random intervals, which I find very strange because his name is clearly Edge. His parents were just hippies, I presume. But here, he was being shot in a ring, talking to Randy Orton and essentially making it clear that when he does return from his triceps tear, he is going to try and murder Mr. RKO. Currently, as we also find out, thanks to Mr. Ric Flair, the greatest wrestler in the world. And Edge mentioned here that we may be able to buy that on a lovely coffee cup, and I look forward to getting mine. There was also the insinuation from Edge that he would have preferred it if Cowboy Bab Orton, who is Randy Orton's father, had been shooting blanks on the night that he did impregnate his wife, who would eventually give birth to Randy Orton. And I was very confused about why somebody would say this. Edge, you can't rewrite the past, and if you did indeed get a time machine, also known as the DeLorean, and decide to try and do this, well, that would make you a very strange man. Either way, when Edge is able to come back, like I say, he still has his eyes set on the Viper, but as Orton himself told us, he's not bothered with Edge anymore, he's not bothered with Christian, he punted them in the brain, and as far as he's concerned, that's a closed book. And following on from that stories, we have even better news that Randy Orton himself has decided to kill legends again. You remember the legend killer back in the mid-2000s? Well, he has returned, and he has his sights firmly set on the Big Show. And while I would never look forward to seeing a murder on my television set, he does have a lot of fire, does that Orton, when he gets into this. And I'm kind of intrigued to see where it goes. Although the counter side to that is when the Big Show did confront Randy Orton about what he had done to Christian last week, he said that he would break Randy Orton's bones one by one. This disturbs me greatly because that would just leave Orton as like some skin on the floor. And how are we ever going to get another match with Edge? Ninjas also continue to infiltrate Monday Night Raw with not one person seemingly bothered about this, as Tozawa, the leader of said ninjas, tried to and succeeded in retrieving the 24/7 title from R-Truth. Now, we do have to say that Bobby Lashley decided to beat the hell out of R-Truth before his match, and because the 24/7 rule stipulates it has to be defended 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Tozawa just got in the ring and made the pin. But we do now have to question what happens to this championship now that it's in the hands of some ninjas. Will they call on the well-known Foot Clan for extra personnel? Will R-Truth be able to get his beloved championship back? Or does he now focus on Bobby Lashley, who also seems to be gunning for the United States Championship? Later on, we did see a non-title match between Shelton Benjamin and Apollo Crews, the current champion, and Bobby Lashley got so annoyed that Apollo won. He jumped in the ring and applied the unbreakable full Nelson, and I'm going to assume he still has it locked on now, and I feel sorry for Apollo Crews' neck. And finally, when it comes to Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan is sad. That's all I have for you. She lost to Natalya here in 2 minutes, and she left the arena crying, even though her former friend Ruby Riott tried to console her. We also seem to have a partnership between Natalya and Lana, but the thing that is perturbing me the most is that Natalya continues to transform into a feline and continues to transform into a cat. I assume that in 1 year's time she will have just become an animal and will be somebody else's pet, and we shall be asking the simple question, where the hell has Natalya gone? And on that note, Bobby Roode, I hope you haven't turned into a dog. And that is that. Thank you very much for joining me, Flipping Marks, here on Kayfabe News in my brand new summer attire, which is essentially where I shed my jacket and enter Party Town. I'm looking forward to getting out there and enjoying some of those rays. You keep enjoying Raw, though, and I'll see you very soon. How was that? Was that fine for you? You absolute numpty? Oh yeah, okay, fine. Subscribe to the channel as well. Please hit the subscribe button, otherwise the producers will just crap their own pants because they don't think they're doing a very good job. I'll tell you this, you're not doing a very good job. You do a worse job than whoever is in control of Monday Night Raw. Like, why did Dolph Ziggler get a title shot? Why did Sasha Banks get a title shot against Asuka? Was that ever explained? No, it was not. Bullshit.